Hello, Dahi here from Timestep Softworks. I've got a bit of good news. The alpha version of Vigilantes will be available on the 30th, which is tomorrow. Now I'm aware I've been saying it'll be available in 2 weeks. It'll be available in 2 weeks for some time. I'm probably a bit of an optimist in that regard. It is kind of difficult to tell when a game with this much work involved. I think I've probably put in around 3,200 to 3,500 hours to date when it'll be ready, but I'm kind of confident that it's seaworthy now. That's not to say there's no bugs in it or it's completely polished, but I think it's in reasonably good shape. I'd also just like to mention that you can purchase the game through this button. You click on this button, it'll bring you back to the Timestep Softworks webpage. You can purchase it at a significant discount. Now, the free version that's been distributed through IndieDB is actually the same as the paid version for now. Now, the paid version is primarily there for people that like the direction the game is heading and would like to support it. So I wanted to try and set up something that was kind of good for both of us. So you would get a substantial discount on the final release price of the game, whereas if people pick up the game, try it, it'll give me some feedback. It'll help me to tune the game and to release something much better than I could without feedback. And it'll also provide some funding which you can use to spend additional time adding more content to the game and making it more polished, commissioning more artwork and music. So hopefully that's something that would work out for both of us. So just moving on to, I thought I'd also make a couple of tutorials just to cover the basics of getting into the game. So I'm just going to jump into that now. Click New Game. If you want to move, just go ahead quickly. You can click melee or range build. Now I've played this first few levels a lot of times, maybe 30 or 40 times, so these builds are pretty good. If you want a bit more information, I'll just go through that now. In terms of skills, here skills are linked to core stats. Each skill is linked to one of these core stats. Now, not all of these skills are particularly useful right now because not all the features, say for example crafting or presence or surveillance, are really relevant at the moment. And it is a combat orientated RPG, so what you want to do is you're going to want to pick one of these two skills. You can't pick both of them if you want. It'll kind of leave you maybe not so good at either of them. Explosives has its uses, but explosives are expensive and you kind of need a cluster of men for it to be kind of worthwhile to use them. So as a primary skill, it's probably not a good pick. Medicine is pretty good as well. It will increase the amount that health you regain whenever you heal. So it's pretty good maybe to throw a couple of points into that. Now moving into the core stats here, utility and leadership aren't particularly useful right now. Prowess is linked into close combat and it will determine the amount of damage. It's also linked into explosives, as you can see from the tooltip. Now everything on this screen is tooltip, so you can figure it out. You should be able to figure it out from there. Instinct is linked into firearms, so if you want a range build, you're going to want to put some points into that. Fleetness is your character's initiative, so what order they get to act in the turn, whether they're first, in the middle or last. A fleetness of 5 will actually let you always act first against any of the enemies that you'll encounter in the alpha. And you can see your AP per turn here. That's the amount of AP you regain when you press end turn. Max AP, it does allow you to store extra AP, so you can roll them over for the next turn. And toughness is the last one, which is, as you can guess, it's linked into HP. And if you look in the bottom center of the screen, you can see that each rank in toughness gives you 5 extra HP, which is pretty useful. Now I'm going to go ahead with a melee build and I'm going to start the game. And this brings you into the home scene, which is more or less your kind of base of operations and where you can do anything that isn't combat related in the game. First one is the character screen, which you're already familiar with. There's nothing much to do here now, and you can also see there's tutorials up there if you get stuck along the way. We can go into the inventory next. Now, to explain what's going on here, the home inventory is all the items that you've got kind of stockpiled in your home. The personal inventory is what you're carrying, and these kind of slots here, that's for your armor. There is no armor yet. There will be in the next couple of updates. And these are the 2 equipped items. So you can drag, say, from the home into equipped. That'll allow you to access all these items at no AP cost. Now, you'll also always have access to unarmed combat, so you effectively have a 3rd slot there you can't access, but it'll always allow you access to hand. And we'll also drag the bullets into the personal inventory. Now, we are a melee build and we're not going to use them, but just for the sake of bringing them along. And you can see the various filters here for the items. So this will filter, say, weapons. You notice that the bullets disappear. If we go down to ammo, the bullets, so it just allows you to filter your items. These arrows will allow you to choose which character you want, whose inventory you want to look at. Now, at the moment, there's only one character. You'll meet another character in the game and in the alpha, and you'll be able to work with their inventory from there. This is the shop. It's the 3rd one. I'm going to go into the option of buying or selling, and these are the various items. 3 ranged weapons of, I guess, ascending quality. Improvised explosive device, Mark 1. You've got some health kits here, or trauma kits. Small caliber rounds, which will be used in these 2 weapons, and large caliber rounds, which are used in this assault rifle. Now, to purchase something, just drag the item, and since this is a stackable item, you get to choose how many to take with you. Just going to take 1 and click on buy. If you go back into the inventory, then you'll notice it's gone into your home inventory, so we can just drag that in instead. We're more likely to use that. And the last of the tabs here is the select your next mission. Now, it's worth mentioning that in the final game there won't just be a preset number of missions. There'll be a city map which you'll run surveillance on to try and find the criminal presence first, and then you can launch tactical missions against them. But for the purpose of the alpha, it was just easier to set up a number of preset missions. I'd recommend completing them in order 1, 2, 3, because the difficulty generally ascends throughout them, and your character levels up quite incrementally in this game. So if you use close combat skill so many times, you'll increase it, and every increase, has a chance to increase your chance to hit against enemies and your damage. So you'll kind of constantly be leveling up a little here and then when you reach a new level through a certain number of skill gains. You will have a stat point and later on perk points to distribute. So I'd recommend just picking this mission first, and in the next tutorial I'm going to cover the tactical missions. I'll give you a quick run through on that. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the game.